How would you like to hand your child a $1 million head start without having to spend a dime of your own money? The new Trump accounts are live and let your kid start with a free $1,000 free from the federal government that can start as a seed and grow into serious wealth. The administration is trying to help kids build the quote-unquote American dream by giving them an extra head start that they can use on major milestones in life like going to college or buying their first home. After reading the rules on Trump accounts, I found in the fine print some things that might change the math and might not make this as good an opportunity as it seems. I'm Grady Cool, CEO of Cool Wealth Management. I'm going to explain in this video everything you need to know about Trump accounts to get your free money without accidentally creating more taxes for your child. Before we get to the free money, we need to talk about the Big Beautiful Bill. The Big Beautiful Bill is what put Trump accounts into law. It's officially called the One Big Beautiful Bill Act of 2025. Even though it's 2026 now. It's a massive piece of legislation signed on July 4th, 2025. How patriotic. And it's basically a complete renovation of the American tax code. The bill was designed with 4 phases in mind. Phase 1 already happened. The 2017 Trump tax cuts were made permanent, and we got those changes to tips and auto loan interest. But phase 2, or the get ready phase, started here in 2026. The goal of phase 2, which we're in right now, is to officially check the box on your tax return to elect to create a Trump account so your child can be signed up to get the free $1,000 in federal seed money for the account. Now, the tricky part is that TrumpAccounts.gov, the site for Trump accounts, doesn't go live until later this year on July 4th. That's the speed of government for you. At that time, parents, grandparents, and employers will start being able to make contributions to Trump accounts. What you can do for now is say, oh yeah, I'd like the free money, please, I'll take that. The free $1,000 isn't available for everyone though. While a Trump account can be open for any child with a social security number, the fun part is the free $1,000, you must be born during the current Trump presidency. That's lovely, isn't it? Despite any misgivings around that fact, this is meant to be an experiment. The government doesn't know how giving free money to kids is going to go, even if there are some very specific rules around it. We've had Social Security, disability, unemployment. We even had those free stimulus checks with all the stuff that happened in 2020. But there has never been anything quite like this. The problem is the results of those programs has been mixed, and the national debt has gone up a lot recently. Our economy increasingly rewards investments over labor. This account helps people who wouldn't normally invest start building wealth, at least in theory. If a program like this goes well, it's possible more could come, but that's why for now it's just an experiment. A long experiment though. Phase 4, the Big Beautiful Bill, does not roll out until 2028. That's when contribution limits for both parents and employers starts going up in line with inflation.
There is an incredible amount of detail in this bill, so I won't bore you with every little piece of it since we would be here for hours. However, I do think it's important to talk about ownership and tax structure. Trump accounts are legally in the child's name, but a parent or guardian acts as the authorized individual to manage the investments until the child turns 18. There are plenty of accounts already like this, such as a UTMA or 529 education savings plan. This gets a little more confusing because your employer can also make contributions. It will typically be a match of whatever you're putting in or a percentage of what you're putting in. They can just give you free money without you having to put in any yourself, but that's not really going to be common. The confusing nature of the structure of these accounts doesn't end there. Trump accounts have what I would call a hybrid tax structure. The seed money from the government and any contributions from your employer are considered pre-tax contributions and operate similar to a 401k or traditional IRA. There are no taxes on capital gains, dividends, or interest in the account before you take the money out. But once you take the money out for an eligible purchase, then it is added to your ordinary income for the year. Most funds in the account are intended for large purchases in life, such as school, a first home, or retirement. It can even be used on eligible purchases to help start your first business. We're going to make that American dream happen. Those are great times to have a little extra money sitting around, but the contributions you make or grandparents make are not pre-tax. When you put money into the account, you'll have already paid income taxes on the funds you're putting in. The government isn't supposed to create double taxation, so you do not have to pay income taxes again on the amount you have paid for the assets inside the account when paid for with your contributions. That's a mouthful, so let's take a look at an example with my friend George. If George contributes $650 to purchase one share of VOO, which is a stock market ETF from Vanguard, since until the child turns 18, accounts can still only have simple index type investments in them, then that $650 purchase price is his basis in the stock. When George's daughter, Veronica, sells that share so she can pay for her first year in college, then the $650 will not be added to her ordinary income for the year. Now here's the tricky part. She will have to add the earnings or growth from that investment to her ordinary income. If that one share had doubled to $1,300, then $650 would be tax-free and $650 would be added to her ordinary income. Hope I didn't lose you there, because the nature of contributions like this is where I think a lot of people are going to get lost.
Now, usually when the government hands you a free $1,000, it's a good idea to check your pocket, see if something's not quite right. But the biggest problem I'm seeing with these accounts is people fundamentally misunderstanding how they work and how they're taxed. Trump accounts are a little confusing. The custodian, or the company that holds the Trump account for you, is legally mandated to keep track of your basis for you and all the legal documents surrounding it. But if you've ever tried to deal with the customer service line for some of these places, you can understand why fully relying on them isn't necessarily a 100% realistic option. Some will keep track of this information, but others might not. And when you switch firms, because these accounts are meant to last so long, the probability that something gets lost in translation at some point is fairly high. That means you or your child are supposed to keep track of all of the details yourself. Imagine some Excel file or Word doc locked away in the back of your computer like a dungeon. I'm confident a lot of people are going to struggle with what money came from the government versus they put in themselves versus their employers versus grandparents. Not to mention the contribution limit. Only $5,000 may be contributed to the account, including your employer and your contributions, the only exclusion being the federal seed money. If you're getting matching contributions from your employer, you need to keep track so that you don't accidentally put too much in. It's just a lot to keep track of. Withdrawals have no penalties if you wait until 59 and a half to make them basically as a part of retirement, except if you use them on American Dream type activities we mentioned before. Going to college, first home, starting a business, or having a child. The rules and stipulations for those purchases can be precise. You might not be able to use the funds in every way that you might want to. For example, you might be able to get your first home, but you might not be able to put in a new pool or renovate much. That doesn't sound like a big deal, but it just adds a layer of noise to the account that makes it hard to use well compared to something simple like a Roth IRA. I'm a smart guy, I don't need to worry about that. Now, some of you may be ready for all the record keeping and rules, so let's talk about what to do as far as investments with the account if you actually are moving forward with it. If you want to actually win this game, you can't just check the box and walk away. To turn a $1,000 head start into a 7-figure payout, you need to actually think strategically like a puzzle. It's not just about what Trump accounts can do. It's about how they fit into your complete financial plan. One of the best parts about Trump accounts is they operate completely separately from any other tax-advantaged accounts. Any money put into your retirement plan, health savings plan, education savings plan, completely separate from the amounts you can put into a Trump account. And you don't need to be employed to put money into an account, which is great news for grandparents. Shout out to grandma, always making life better. To get the most out of the account, let's start with step 1. If your child qualifies for the free seed money, you probably want the free seed money. If your employer offers matching contributions, that also basically falls into the free money basket, and you're probably going to want to highly consider that. We'll get to the other contributions, but for now, we need to talk about what to do with the money once you have it inside the account. As with any financial plan, it's good to have goals in mind. I know you're not going to have a perfect idea of what your child's going to want to do with their life in 20 years, even if you really wish you could pick for them, But it is still good to have a general plan for what you want this account to accomplish for your child so that we can make the best decisions for what goes inside the account. The reason for that is there may be other types of accounts that may be better for certain types of goals when it comes to your portion of contributions. For example, if you want to help your child save for college, then after you have received the federal seed money and your employer's matching contributions, 529 might offer better tax advantages for your further contributions than Trump accounts do. Likewise, with retirement, when it comes to your contributions, starting a Roth IRA in your child's name might be a much better tax advantage. Once you have a goal in mind, it makes picking out the investments in the account a lot easier. If you have a long time horizon, stocks can be great. If your goal's coming up, maybe you're paying for school, then something like bonds or cash equivalents can be nice as well. There is a lot more flexibility with these accounts once the child turns 18, thankfully. Now, we need to get to my least favorite thing about these accounts, tax disadvantages. If you contribute after-tax dollars to a Trump account, you may actually cause more taxes for your child than you would otherwise. These accounts are meant to have low contributions and a long time horizon, so most of the value is going to come from a lot of earnings and growth. The earnings and growth is added to your child's ordinary income for the year, making it so they have to pay more taxes. The tax rate for ordinary income is significantly higher than it is for capital gains for most people. If you had made the same contributions into a standard taxable account and then just paid capital gains or on the income from things like dividends, paid ordinary income taxes on that, then a lot of times you would have actually paid less in taxes overall. Not to mention having a lot more flexibility. That can be an unbelievably frustrating situation. I've known plenty of friends that were gifted a 529 account where you can't spend money on anything except for school without big penalties, and the friend didn't end up going to college, but they really needed the money because trying to create a financial foundation in your early 20s is hard, especially when you don't go to college. So if you're trying to maximize what you can get out of a Trump account, you really need to know this ahead of time. I think the free money stuff is great, but otherwise these accounts, they just aren't really my favorite. They're hard to keep track of all the details, lockup periods are never fun, and the possibility of tax disadvantages just feels too high. At the end of the day, a free $1,000 is a free $1,000, and in this economy, I will take it. However, I think keeping Trump accounts is just a tool in the financial planning tool belt is probably where they belong. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. Otherwise, you can use the link in the description to book a free call, and we'll be happy to help with your own personal situation. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.